And every single time I'm in February, I'm like messed up because climate, weather, this is probably more weather. It's weather. Because February feels like it should not be colder because the days are now getting longer. So we get more sunlight, but we're tilted and other things happen. So it's now colder. And then as you get into February and things get colder and colder, as will probably happen, is happening. And you're like, wait a second, we're actually on the other side of the longest day. So, yeah, February
Yeah, it's been a
in
super
Toronto.
anticlimactic winter here.
Why do you say that?
It's just like there's no snow. It doesn't feel like winter. It's just cold.
All right, yeah, that's true. I like snow a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. When it snows, I'm very happy. It snowed really nicely recently. Okay, so hello everybody. Welcome to the pre-show. Glad you're here. We're actually not in the show right now. This is just us chatting. And we have a bit of a tradition, right, Arthur?
One of many.
Yeah. Well, so one of the major traditions in the pre-show is what?
The dad jokes?
Yes, I've got one for you.
Hit me.
Okay. So this is not an original. Most of them are originals from this particular dad, but this one's not.
Oh, so you found a source.
Yes, a friend sent this to me. And it was actually pretty wonderful. It was like, this is a way of getting close to my heart. Okay. So, everybody out there note. All right.
I'm laughing because David noticed the shirts.
Oh, right. Yes. This is this is my Tuesday shirt because that's your Tuesday shirt.
Yeah, this is just the only shirt I own.
Show shirt. Huh?
It's just the only shirt I own.
No, it isn't. That's not even funny. You have to work on your humor, okay?
You gotta work on my dad joke.
Now it's funny. You see, as soon as you, okay. Anyways, so we got to do this. All right.
Focus, people.
All right. So there's this cooking show in Australia. Can you imagine the cooking show?
Is everything upside down?
Everything was upside down in Australia. Yes, you're on a roll today, Arthur. Holy cow. All right. Just keep it up.
I'm here all day, folks.
Yes. All right. Cooking show in Australia. And they're teaching people how to do a meringue. You know, like my dad's favorite pie was lemon meringue. And I had a love-hate relationship with it. But anyways, they're teaching the people in Australia, this cooking show in Australia, how to do a meringue. And you know what? They didn't like it. The audience did not like it. Because in Australia, they boomerang.
Hi-oh.
Yes. So, to our audience, if you want in the pre-show, this is my invitation to you. I don't necessarily. I mean, I'll whatever I come up with, I'll share on the show. But you know, say you're kind of feeling a little bit upset about the world, and you feel like you want to get back at the world a little bit, like punish them. Then send in your puns, your lame dad jokes, and I will recite them for you.
Sure, like a list.
We'll punish the world. Yes. I'm just going to keep repeating that one until you laugh. Punish the world. Haha. Yes. A little, it's kind of like BDSM for words.
That was a stretch of the imagination, but okay, I'll go with you there.
No, you're not. Yeah. Okay, cool. I was actually
I was gonna say you should have Brent's all-time favorite, dad jokes, up on the wall so everybody can see them. Have like a little collection, and then people can like fight to get on the wall. It could be a status symbol.
Yeah, you could. And I would, yes, it would be a status symbol to have your joke, even if it's just a joke you found. Like, it doesn't have to be an original. These things do not have to be original. But yeah, send it in. I'll gladly make it part of the show. Yeah, speaking of BDSM for puns.
Okay, keep a straight face on that one.
Words, yeah. Yeah, actually, my family actually had a safe word, like with kids and stuff like that, because I could really get in on a roll, and they did have a safe word for it. It was stop. Please stop. Sometimes they had it, please. Please stop. Sometimes they doubled the please. Yeah, I don't know. That makes sense to me. It's a good safe word, eh? Stop.
It's very clear and to the point.
Very direct and to the point. All right. Anyways, when I was thinking, I was like, this could be in my Netflix special, my comedy special, one day. All right. I think we're almost ready for the show. Are we ready for the show?
I'm ready.
All right, then let's do it. You got your shades? Oh, I'm gonna give you something new.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt, the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
That's right. We are live with COVID Marketing episode number 129, coming to you every Tuesday at 11 Eastern Standard Time. If you have questions on marketing, business, or whatever, you let us know in the comments wherever you fine folk are seeing this. I am Brent Kobayashi, president of Kobayashi Zeitguys, a marketing agency here in Toronto, Canada. And with me is Mr. Arthur Tutt, a marketing specialist at the KZ.
And if you uncontrollably love ladybugs, make sure you like, subscribe, smash that notify button so you never miss a show.
Yep. That's the.
I mean, that face sells it all.
That is clearly our singular branded positioning, audience, value statement is ladybug.
Yeah.
That's it. The marketing stuff, that's all just like, a reason to wear my ladybug paraphernalia. All right. Okay. This may be a short show. I actually think that I'm feeling like we're going to just in and out. Get things done. Let's get going.
Zip through it.
People productive, that type of thing. All right. So what are we doing today?
So we're going to talk about some tools. This is actually going to be the tools that we use part 5, because we have so many tools that we use. We keep going. What do you think? Can we make this like a 10-part series?
Oh, easily. New. Yep. 10-part series. And for all those that are watching and will be watching, give us in your comments either the tools that you love, that you use, and we'll take a look at them and see what context they can bring into business and marketing world, or the problems you're trying to solve, and we'll think if we have a tool for that.
We'll dig into it. So we got a few different tools really covering a very broad range of topics here, but let's start with security. Everybody's concerned about security. And really, we're talking about passwords and the best ways to protect passwords, to share passwords. If you have a whole team, or, if you're, we work with clients as the agency, how do you transfer passwords back and forth and keep everything good without messing things up? Brent, what do we do? What's the magic?
Okay, so I don't know why I have to say this. I actually feel like, I'm just going to put it this way, because we deal with clients, we deal with people, and we deal with passwords all the time. So as a marketing agency, more so than maybe many other businesses, we are always getting access to our clients' domain name, website, all sorts of Facebook, all sorts of things, ad accounts, that type of thing. I still don't get why people are not taking this stuff seriously. Like literally passwords that are 3 or 4 characters long, such and such's name 2020 exclamation mark. You always end up, you always secure your password at the end with an exclamation mark, right?
Nobody's going to know that one.
Holy moly. Okay. So before we get into a specific tool, let me just say to everybody out there right now, you must start using hard passwords, and you must stop duplicating your passwords. I got some swear words. Imagine all the swear words.
Brent, I feel like you're getting a little bit heated about this.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so that, and stop sharing your passwords via email, and stop keeping track of them in a Microsoft Excel and Word document thing that you share around with. Like if you're in a business and you're sharing it around with your staff who may or may not be there in a little while, right? Things change in the world. And so, yeah, don't do that. Okay. So
the other thing too, quickly on that too, is like when you throw your email, the password into an email, sometimes emails start going back and forth, and then there's suddenly 20 people on the email, and you've completely forgotten all the way down to the bottom of the chain. You've got your login credentials and your password in there.
Yep. And things become unsecure. People get hacked. Your email gets hacked. That's your number one most important password in the entire world. More important than your banking passwords and everything else is your email password, because that actually gives you access to your entire life. It gives you access to reset, passwords on other platforms and all that type of stuff. And it's not that challenging these days to write a program that will, after you've hacked into somebody's account, and when I say after you've hacked into somebody's account, not a person that's hacked into somebody's account, because they're not sitting there saying, hey, I really want to get into Arthur's account. Let me do as much as I can to do that. Because I'm sorry.
I'm sure a lot of people.
That happens to presidents and prime ministers and all that kind of stuff. But we're not high targets.
What are you saying, Brent?
But we're still valuable, because you can sell our identity and our passwords and all that kind of stuff to criminals who want hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you can make a lot of money from a massive. So they're not targeting Arthur specifically, but they're going to try to, you're going to automatically scrape his email address off of a website. So there's a whole list of email addresses that they've got. They're going to start trying to log in to that and just go through brute force and various different means. And once they've got access to your email address, automatically, like this is just programs running, then you can just oftentimes download all their email and now run a program against it to say, where's all the usernames and passwords that they've been emailing back, and credit cards. People put credit cards in email as well. Email's not secure. It goes through many, 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 many computers before it gets to the other end. And then it's even not secure on the other end. So yes, passwords. So we do have a tool. Okay. So everybody listening, if you have repeated your passwords and they're not hard, you're not doing life right. Okay. At least 2021 life right. Got it?
But Brent, how do I do this? There's so many passwords. How do I remember them? How do I juggle them? How do I not forget all of this chaos, Brent? What are you suggesting?
All right. Thanks for the setup. All right. So what I am suggesting here, just give me a second here I'm going to share my screen for you. All right. So share screen. Oops. Yes, I want to share screen. Hold on. I'm not going to share sound though. I'll just share the screen. All right. Can you see my screen, Arthur?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. So this is a program called LastPass. So there's a lot of different programs. This is the one that we particularly use. This is the tool that we use. It's a great one. I'm going to show you a few different features. One is, of course, you've got all of your passwords for all the different places. You can get a little sense of me a little bit, Burning Man, DoorDash, that type of thing. One of the neat features when you're working with LastPass, other than website, username, password, and you can actually keep passwords for all sorts of different things, including applications, is you do have this ability here to click share. And so I can now share this with somebody securely. So the person on the other end can get this share of this LastPass, and they can get a LastPass account, and it's free for individual use of a certain level. So you can use this as well. So kind of similar to Google's password manager, because most of the web browsers have password managers, except this one actually allows you to share with other people in a secure way. So that's one thing. Now, the other thing that I want to point out with a tool like this, and there are competitors, but this is I like this one a lot, is you do have the ability to go into what's called a sharing center. So while you can share individually with people, you can also have shared folders with people, which means when I add a password to, this particular one, shared KO marketing, right? It shares it amongst specific members of the team. And with this one, you can choose who's the administrator. Do I hide the password? So in other words, I can share it with people and hide the password so they can log into this particular resource.
Right. So they could access it.
They access it, but they never get to see the password ever. Brilliant. Right. So this is in the enterprise version. So you have to actually pay, I think it's like $15 a month per user. So it costs a little bit, but it's an investment in never having to worry about this. By the way, if you're another agency or you're doing stuff for clients and you've got a team and you're not doing this, what are you doing with your clients' passwords? Like, seriously, what's going on here? Now, in our history, we've done that, so I'm not going to judge you too much, but you want something like this, right? So, and you can create groups, Kobayashi Online internal staff. Do we want to, who's the administrator? Do you hide the passwords? Is it read-only? Can they edit it? That type of thing. So you have all sorts of different permissions that you can give for these shared folders. Also, you can, for a shared folder, just so you get a sense, you can invite somebody external to your organization, right? And then the last thing I want to point out, and the reason why I really like LastPass, they have what they call a security dashboard, and I'll show you mine. So this, they will go through and they'll say, hey, wait a second, you are you are safe to a certain degree. Right. And there's ways that you can boost your safety. This percentage is off. I don't know what's going on there.
I was enjoying that.
Yeah.
3.5
I think actually, here, I think I'm missing I don't know if it's 3.5. I think there's like a digit. It's like 6.3 or something like that, 63% or something. I'm not sure.
They're very precise.
Yeah. So this security dashboard, and this is great when you have an organization, because you can actually see everybody in your organization, how secure is their password store, including their personal ones and the ones that you're sharing. And so how many at-risk passwords do you have? And so what I do is every now and then I go through and I've been doing this we're 25th year in business. So I've got a lot of stuff that came over when I installed this from Google. So a ton of old passwords that are irrelevant these days. And so you can view this and it'll say, well, this is an old password. This is a duplicate password. And it'll just tell you, you need to clean this stuff up. So every now and then I go through and delete stuff and reduce this number slowly. I've looked at them and none of them are high risk. And then the other thing is this dark web monitoring. So when you look at this, you see we have all of this stuff where we're actually monitoring the email addresses that it's picked up from all of our passwords, all the stored passwords, and saying, are they on the dark web?
Has somebody taken that email, listed it on the dark web and say, hey, I got a password if you want to pay for it?
Yep. So to give you an idea, the dark web, for those who don't know, everybody's getting educated on this stuff because it's becoming really, really important. That's why I think this is one of the most important tools. The dark web is, here, I'm going to just stop sharing for a moment. I'm going to just talk. So the dark web is basically where if credit cards and like all sorts of stuff goes on the dark web, but it's the part of the web that generally it will not be indexed by Google. It's hidden, and it will be, and this is where people go to sell people's
nefarious
identities
things.
and passwords, and this is the email address. So this program monitors that, and tells you, wait a second, your email address is being sold on the dark web. You need to be really cautious about what's going on there. Yep.
That's a pretty cool check.
Yeah. Yeah, David. So audience questions. You ready for this?
Let's jump into it. We got a couple of good ones here.
Yep. What's your suggestion for creating passwords? There's various schools of thoughts. If you need to be able to type it in, then first of all, Google this and you'll get it a little bit more precisely. But you use a bunch of words, intermix it with random symbols, and I think it's like 3 or 4 words. This is if you have to be able to remember to type it in. So it could be, flower, dollar, sun, exclamation point, punish, right? So whatever it happens to be. And you might change the I to ones or change them to twos because ones will be so you change it up a little bit. Exactly. Maybe not quite literally 1 to 1. So I's turning into ones are a little bit too, right? O's into zeros. That's a little bit more machine guessable. So you want to kind of make it, but the real thing to do is auto generate passwords. So LastPass has the ability when you're actually creating a password to say generate a complex passwords, and it's ridiculous, right? It's random numbers, it's capitals, it's lowercase, it's numerals, it's symbols. It's nothing that a human mind typically would remember. Use that everywhere you possibly can, and don't duplicate. So don't say I have this password for this thing, and don't. This is a practice we used to have, which was we would not duplicate, but we'd have the same pattern, right? So we would, have a password, which was, whatever, A, B, C, D, and then something related to that thing that we're logging in or whatever it happens to be. And you've got to know that at some point, your passwords could be cracked. They could look at that and they can say, okay, so you've got a pattern. We now know the pattern. So yeah, don't duplicate and really take this seriously. Really take this seriously. Okay, next question.
We got a question from Patricia. What if someone has to work on my Instagram, for example? How can this person access it?
Love it. Okay, so not 100% sure with Instagram. Arthur, do you know with Instagram?
So
can you have users on Instagram?
Instagram, because there's been some changes over the last couple of years, but Instagram a while back released a business profile, right? So there's a personal profile and then there's a business profile, and it gives you a whole bunch of business features. But part of what the business profile lets you do is it lets you add managers to your account. So you can, on the back end, you can add different people to your account and they can access it without actually needing to see your password.
Perfect. And so actually that brings me to another thing, especially when you're a business and you're working with outside vendors, everywhere you can, if possible, is don't give them access to your social media account, to your this account. Sometimes you have to, and oftentimes we get access. And then what we do is once we have access, we set up, like you're saying with Instagram, a business user for us, which means that gives the business owner the ownership of their account so that they can kick us off when it's not appropriate for us to have access anymore, or the next vendor who maybe they've moved on to somebody else internally, whatever is happening, the next vendor can come in and say, hey, why is Brent at Kobayashi.ca, why is this person still have access to your account? And then kick us off. So most of the online accounts have the ability for users. Most of them, or a lot of them, are free. Some of them aren't. So like if you're using Hootsuite, one of the things, like Hootsuite's a social media manager where you manage a bunch of different accounts. Oftentimes they'll charge you for the extra user to be able to do that, to be able to get a little bit more money. It's not just you, but it's you and a team, or you and one other person. I'd recommend paying that extra little bit. Usually it's a small amount to have an individual user separate, especially if you're working with a vendor, which that, and the staff employee to a certain degree won't be there in the long term. You decide whether or not it's worth it in that particular case, and each case will be different. But Facebook has Facebook Business Manager. Google, all the Google accounts has the ability to give another user access to your account without giving up your actual core account credentials as well. So I would recommend you look into it for each one of the things that you're doing to see. Domain names. A lot of domain name companies do the same thing. So with GoDaddy, we don't get access. If our clients' domains are at GoDaddy, we don't get direct access. We don't want direct access. I mean, it's okay, but we'd prefer not to. We prefer to have it given to us as a user. And then that allows us to do all the things that we need to do with domain names to launch a website.
Yep. Yeah. And then we don't have to keep track of people's passwords and have a spreadsheet and this and that. And
yeah,
because that makes me uncomfortable having like passwords around. Like, I don't want this.
Oh God, no. Yeah. And so that also then allows you to set the secure, like when you're using LastPass and you're doing users like that, it allows you to set the security level of your business rather than just thinking, oh yeah, I'm sure they're doing the right thing. Like our industry, like the marketing industry, especially when you're working with marketers, the barriers to entry are ridiculously low, which is great. That means there's a lot of people that are offering their services to you, but it also means, you know, they're not necessarily all following best practices like this, right? And these are best practices that we accumulated over time too. So it's not like we're angels as far as this goes. All right. I think this is going to be, this whole show is passwords, which is very exciting for me. I don't know about it. Okay, next.
Well, we thought this was going to be a quick show, but we've really gotten into it.
Yeah, I know. I thought this was going to like go like, 5 minutes on this, 5 minutes on that. So we got a few tools that we're going to have to use for next time.
So one last question on LastPass?
Yeah, okay, go for it.
All right, one more from David here. Is there a free option for LastPass?
Yep, 100%. So yes, there's a free option for LastPass. You can share with a person, and they do need to get a LastPass account, but they don't have to buy the premium version. So I don't know what the different tiers, like what that gives you, but there is a role for. I think they have basically business accounts, which we do, and they have personal accounts. They've got a free personal one, so it's more for individual use. I think they have a tier up, which they call the family plan. So say you have a family, a bunch of people, and you want to kind of share passwords, like the Netflix password and the Crave TV. I don't know why I'm thinking all shows, because it's our life right now a little bit. But yeah, you can share passwords amongst your family, and that's a paid subscription. So that's one of the paid features.
Easy. Done.
All right. That's it. We have to retitle this one to LastPass.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt, the show that supports small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
All right. Thank you for joining us to talk about marketing and business productivity. Yeah, I have to duck down a little bit so you can see my ears, antenna. Marketing and business productivity tools. So what tools do you use and love? What problems do you want to solve? You let us know in the comments. You fine, beautiful people. Yeah. All right. You're doing a little jig there.
Good flow to it.
You got, yeah. All right. So on next week's show, we'll be doing some more cool stuff from the marketing world. Thanks, everyone.
And shout out to Patricia and David for joining us today.
Yes, we're playing with our radio voices. Maybe we're going to break into song one of these days.
We can dream.
Not on Zoom, though. Zoom sucks royally for singing. Holy cow. I can't believe it. I think I've mentioned this on the show before. You try to sing happy birthday on Zoom, it's painful. Like literally actual pain, like gut, like it translates from audio to like, oh my gosh. Anyways, okay, you got to take us out, man.